Oh, all
We're
right.
back. Emergency meeting of the DogCast.
Howdy.
Hi. Merry Christmas.
Howdy. Merry Christmas, brother. Thanks for hanging out with me. Boy, you got that fancy water. You know, when you see a guy drinking water out of a glass, you know it's
Hey,
going down.
this is about as good as it gets. Christmas present for G2 Jake. Some
That's
fancy bubbly water.
something to keep in mind. Something to
hmm
keep in mind.
Costco special, but I mean, I really like it, but the idea of going through these glass containers,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I drink a six pack or something. I'm not worried about the glass containers, but
I
drinking
figured your
water.
babies would be all in them in the trash can. Are you throwing them away or how are you
We
disposing?
recycle them, but who knows if it actually gets recycled.
Well, yeah, that's not up to you. That's not up to me. You did the right thing. You're trying.
You like the full frontal?
I do like it. I love it. It looks good on the shirt. It's a good message. Good morning. That's a good
Good
message.
morning.
That's a good message, bro. Keep spreading that love.
Mm-hmm. All right. Emergency
Emergency
Dogcast.
meeting.
What'd you say?
I said emergency meeting.
Yeah, Emergency Dogcast, 1.5 mongoose. So, um, you haven't seen it, but I just made a video that kind of explained it a little bit, and it's going to be posted up as soon as I'm ready.
Okay.
So these will have been on the site and whatnot before you're seeing this podcast. But quick recap for those of you that didn't see it, or for Matt, I suppose. Um, Secret Santa happened. Well, Santa Jake, I don't really know. It needs a better name, but you have the option of sending my email to whoever's shopping for you, and they reach out, and I help them get a yo-yo for you. So this year we had a Packstorm Wraith. Phenomenal. I don't. It's probably the best. That B-22 is up there, but this one with the blue rims, top notch. Um, there was an AL7 Herdsman, which didn't make it out of Secret Santa. I accidentally sold four of them. There was five total, so I don't even have one now. I sent the fifth to Phil, but there will be some changes for a V2 coming out.
Okay.
Then the reason we're here, a Mongoose 1.5, Unicorn Storm, great colorway. It's kind of, I talked about a pre-production. Nothing's changing. Um, there was just I could rush like 20 of them to get them here before Christmas, and that was about it. So it's a quick pre-production run. 2025, a few months away, will be production run. And the Mongoose 1.5 will kind of become something in the lineup most likely. Um, Quick changes before Matt hops in with whatever questions. The weight's pretty much the same. It's wider by I think a millimeter total, maybe a hair more. I didn't actually do the specs yet or go back to back, and I don't file away specs for hundreds of yo-yos. The weighting's pretty much the same. Took out center weight, added it to the rim as the rim got wider. Updated the response to G20 pads, and that's it. G20 pads, and they're recessed slightly. But okay, Mongoose 1.5. Mr. Goose yourself, what would you like to know?
Oh man. Well, I'm very excited about this. So this is what you questioned me about, right? That's what I think, right? The
Kind of.
okay. I feel like the changes you just described kind of go along with what I asked for, so it really seems like it worked out.
You can remind me what you asked for, and I'll tell you.
Wider and more rim weight.
Okay, so well, both those things happened. Um, so what's Matt's talking about is I had the idea of creating a specific Matt Mullins mongoose. I didn't end up going that route. We went with the mongoose 1.5. Um, but so yeah, both of those things were accounted for. I don't know that we went. Did you say how wide?
No, no.
Okay.
I
Um,
mean, I still think you got room to go wider.
there's plenty of like there's plenty of room to go wider, right? It's only like 45 wide or something, but that really takes away from it being a mongoose, and it turns into a whole nother
Right.
yo if you start to push it out too much. Now, you could make the jump from the mongoose 1.5 way down the road to something else that's even wider rimmed, and the 1.5 bridges that gap. But to go to I mean, almost a standard yo-yo now, but over like a wide yo-yo, I still don't love going out past 48, but I don't actually know where I was going. But yeah, both of your things kind of, I guess, indirectly went to this mongoose update. Um, and I think the G20 pads was something that I definitely wanted to update. The mongoose needed a little more snappy return, I think, overall, and that was kind of addressed with the 1.5.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but great things. I mean, when people were starting to get this in for Secret Santa, they were hitting me up immediately going, dude, a new goose is here. I mean, of course I didn't know, right? But you don't ever you say something's coming, but I could think it could be anytime. Never know. Never know when. I definitely didn't know you were doing Secret Santa, which makes it super cool. Merry Christmas to everybody.
And I think the Secret Santa idea of somehow it came to light, like the idea of, I think I joked about it something, and I don't know exactly what Tori said in the Discord that then I joked about it. But then I thought, well, I actually should do that. And the 1.5 was set up to be a prototype. And then instead, I just said, hey, let's rush this, get me 20 of these. Got it in hand, like as a new yo yo for Secret Santa for like something extra special to send out for that, the Christmas gifts. Um, when I got in hand, played the raw, good to go. I knew we were sticking with that. So that's why I kind of call it the pre production, set up as a proto, but then it's going to be the production run. Nothing's changing, and it's anodized in a production colorway. So
Yeah.
like
So we're
it's
gonna start with the Pack Storm.
Unicorn Storm.
Okay, but the first production is gonna be Pack Storm.
Oh, I'm not gonna commit to that. I
That's
don't know if I
fair.
actually got all the way to my point though. That
Okay.
did did I?
I don't know. I'm listening though. I want to learn everything you want to give me.
Um, yeah, brain dead.
Okay. You said that it wasn't one, or you was kind of already in the line. My stuff happened on accident. It can't get much wider because it would take away from the goose. G20 pads, it needed a snappier bind.
Okay, yeah. So, um, prototyping idea turned into quick production run, turned into is exactly what I wanted to be for. It's not a big enough change to be just like a whatever I wanted to call it, a Mongoose 25, Mongoose, whatever.
Yeah,
1.5, it's a new yo-yo, but the changes are not drastic, and I don't know how to. I don't want to overstate the differences, and I don't want to understate the differences. It's just close enough to that regular the mongoose that I didn't want to change the names overall. It was kind of just maybe a slightly smaller update, but more updating than I would ever do just switching to an AL7. So it's in that middle
right.
ground of a complete refresh. Like when you went from the B18 to the B22, that is a very, very different yo-yo. This is like in the middle ground there somewhere. More difference than like a B22 to an AL7 B22
Yes, sir.
or a carbine to an AL7 carbine. Even with design changes, this is a lot more change than that, but less than a whole new model kind of.
Very excited for it. I think making it wider and moving that weight out is going to make it a more, I think it's going to be faster. I think it's going to spin longer, like give it more power. You're going to be able to get through combos quicker. And now I haven't played it. You tell me, how does it feel? How does she spin? How does she fly?
It feels more goosey than Monty.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
So that bitch is quick. We
It's,
might have to
I
edit
would
that.
say it's more flight, a little more float. Even though the weight stays the cha same, it feels lighter. Um, it makes it more. I want to throw it in the organic category even more based on how it feels. A little, just feels just lighter, but it's not. And I think that's the best way to describe it. Lighter and softer. Um, Spend time. I don't feel like there's a big change there. The response is better with the updates there. Um, it changes the hand feel a little bit because that um, gradient or whatever you want to call it from the response out to the rim has to change with the wider pads. So you feel that slope is a little bit different in hand. Um, it's just a little bit softer overall with that. Rounded out the edges a little bit. I guess I didn't talk about that, on the rims.
Hmm.
Um, but just slight design tweaks throughout.
Well, I'm excited. I know everyone else is too. I mean, I think it's got to be one of the most loved G2s out there, the Goose. It's wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful.
I don't know where it ranks in favorites, but um, this is the number one. Um, I don't know. We'd have to have just a. It's hard since there's only like a couple yo-yos that have gotten the refresh. So like it'd be like the Banshee or the Elite. If the Mongoose got a full refresh, then it could be in the um, Legacy. Maybe that's the right word for it. Legacy model vote, where you have models that are always happening and evolving in the G2 lineup.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the mongoose is a versatile yo-yo. You're going to be able to do a lot with it. I know you can make magic with it no matter
what is
what.
your favorite things about the Mongoose?
Mm. I really love just the design. I love the groove as to where it is right here. As far as comfort in the hand, I feel like this right here is perfect. The rim size is perfect for a yo-yo for me, and it just goes forever. I don't know why I love it so much, to be honest, other than what I just said. But it's a fantastic yo-yo. Hey, thanks for saying a Jake too on this bad boy.
Yeah, that was did you what'd your mom say to you? Did she tell you she couldn't get anything?
So yeah, so she did tell me that, but she brought all the presents out, and bro, I can spot a G2 box. I mean, I can spot it. I can spot it from anywhere. I knew what size box it was, so I just saved that one to the end. So
I told her in the email, I was like, I'm telling Matt that I couldn't find anything for you. Um, because like the Pack Storm Wraith, he'll have one coming that way because he's got to have the Pack Storm. And then the Mongoose 1.5, he's gonna want to hold out until there's a Pack Storm. I guess I could have given you the Unicorn Storm. Um, because
no,
you're gonna want multiple, I know, but I would
yeah,
just in my mind, I was thinking that you'll want to wait for the Pack Storm there for what I'll send you. Um, so I didn't want to
yeah,
buy you something that's coming. So the Golden Coast, I think only two of those ended up being A grades, and you got one of them via Mama Mullins.
yeah,
And I guess my logic doesn't make sense because you already have mongooses. So, but I knew that you wanted that specific one.
yeah. I've only got this is my 10th goose.
10 pack.
I got me a 10 pack. Two more, I got a 12 FOV full. So. So yeah, we'll be good to go. No, I mean, I was not expecting you to pull the Packstorm Wraith out. Wow, that you kind of said it in the beginning. The Packstorm, that Packstorm is mind blowing. It's the best one that you've ever done.
So I think that Banshee 22 is up there. Um,
It's great.
but I really like the wash on this one for the variety of color. And I kind of like it when there's that drastic change too from color to color, where that Banshee, it's the one up on the website, or maybe I use for the drops page. It's pretty like a cloudy color changing it, and but it has a lot of different shades of blue. This one's pretty drastically different, where the sharp changes from one to the other.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it was crazy because Brady wouldn't tell me over the phone. I was on my way to Christmas. Brady wouldn't tell me over the phone. All he kept saying was, "Is you're gonna want it." Like what Packstorm, or not Packstorm, Secret Santa Jake, you're gonna want what he's got for you. And I said, "Dadgum." I just figured I didn't know what it was. And then I opened my present and Tyler saw it in my face. I could clearly see it was an AL6 box. I thought, what in the world? What AL6 goose does he got sitting back? So I went through a whole whirlwind of emotions before I opened that box, saw Golden Coast. I was not expecting Golden Coast. I'm very thankful though.
Brady spilling the beans, huh?
He would not spill the beans. And then the next day he posted it. But he sent me a long message saying, I feel so bad. I hope Jake doesn't hate me. I thought Christmas was the day. I said, yeah, Brady, I think you're pretty safe, buddy. I think
I should have just
look
let
for
it be
you.
Christmas was the day with the spoilers. I forgot that
Yeah,
you could fog a photo. Um,
yeah.
but I think it
He,
was maybe the best year for Santa Jake so far.
he sent me like 15 pictures of that race, though. And my God, it is mind blowing, wonderful. I hope you use the same anodizer for the goose.
I mean, so there's always a difference, and I think it comes down to a little bit the blasting on the aluminum and the cleaning process prior for the colors.
Gotcha.
Um, and then a lot of it comes down to actual surface area on the yo-yo. Um, because there's different amounts of time and just and whatnot for anodizing each piece. So it's just like Rainbow Galaxy. Those are across the spectrum so different. Depends on when they're done, size of the yo-yo, because it's always the same three dies, but they come out so different every single time.
Interesting.
So your
Well,
pack,
we're praying.
everything's going to be different. So if you're thinking about your Pack Storm Goose that you pre-ordered, it's going to be different than the Wraith one. Um, yeah, you're just getting a Pack Storm, and it's going to have some blues, going to have some clears, going to have maybe a little bit of purple. But
Praise God. It's going to be all three of them colors. Anything else you want to see changed out of the goose eventually?
um, I'm I'm pretty happy where it's at. Like I try not to box myself into a corner and say that if we really went wide, like a wide mongoose, it would need a new name.
Hmm.
So I don't want to say that specifically, but I don't see the mongoose turning into a 48 or 50 millimeter wide yo-yo. I like the sizing and relationship for a mongoose, the specs that it is. Makes more sense to do like a stainless steel. If you really wanted to try and make a powerful mongoose, but without going too wide. Um, the box is always open for like a mini or something, but I don't think it would turn into like a mongoose wide or something like that. It just gets out of the DNA too much. But slow changes over time, it could happen.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I don't want to see it go wider. I want to try the 1 millimeter wider and see how I think it'll feel. Because it's the mongoose is such a comfortable yo-yo to me in the hand. I mean, of course, I want it to be wider. So honestly, I'm willing to bet the 1 millimeter is going to be spot on for me.
Yeah, and eventually, not right now, I'll get the exact difference, but paper doesn't make sense to display something, and I can't really
I mean, bro, we're going over time. I understand. Your babies need you.
specs on paper do not translate to the actual feeling in hand.
I
And
know that. You've
see
taught us
something
that.
that is 1.5 grams different, and in hand it feels completely different. Even something that's as small as 1 millimeter or whatever the exact sizing is. I don't know if it was like 1.4 total. I can't think of it off the top of my head, just professional with this the specking. But it just makes a difference once it's actually in the hand. versus
Yeah.
what's on the paper. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, there's a lot. I went a long time, maybe years, that I would release yo-yos without specs. Um, and I'd give an idea, hey, it's full size or this or that, but I wouldn't put the specs until like I don't know, multiple releases down the road. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Once you trusted G2, you were fine with it, but I didn't like being compared to other things just based on the specs of a yo-yo.
Yeah. You've definitely taught me that you can, well, to, I keep I always think back to that video I watched of you early on, and it was an older video. You were still working at your accounting job, but you said, I can make a 70 yo-yo feel light and I can make it feel heavy
Yeah.
just from how I work it. So I understand why people want to know specs, but I also, just like you said, there's a lot of trust in your brand and your company, and they know that they're going to get a premium product, and that is for sure, no matter what.
Yeah, and I don't have a like I was trying to think about like cars. You look at the specs, all right, this is a V6, 300 horsepower,
Right.
this much torque. Um, and until you drive it, the numbers don't necessarily mean anything. You need to know.
Exactly.
Sure, you could have the weight and everything too. That'll help you understand how quick it's going to be, but you're not going to know how it's going to handle very much. I don't, it's not a perfect comparison. Um, but if
It's a pretty good one.
specs in a range. Like, oh, it's 44 to 46 wide. You're gonna have a somewhat idea, and then be like the same, like as a normal person, are you gonna actually know the difference between on paper, whatever it is, 200 horsepower and 250? No, not really. But when you
Yeah.
drive it, you probably would. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
the thing with
Yeah,
the yo-yo. Um,
for sure.
it's just it's hard to do something that's different than the norm. So that bothered people, but then once you get used to it, didn't. If so many yo-yos had been sold on specs and um, and I've even done it, but like the line of, oh, it'll get through it can do any trick. They pretty much all can. It comes down to the thrower, right? So I tried to move away from that lingo of that little paragraph trying to sell a yo-yo to somebody that's just reading it on the internet that hasn't gotten very deep into the hobby. I kind of think once you get to G2, you understand things a little more and you're a little deeper into the hobby and you don't need the basic description to describe the yo-yo to sell it to you.
Yeah, totally agree. Hey, I know I'm throwing this on you. Let's talk about this.
What is it?
That is a T-52.
What do you want to know about it?
I mean, why does your brain do these things? You know what I mean? How does it do these things? Like the Banshee is one of the best yo-yos ever made, right? The SS is one of the best yo-yos ever made. Like you have to put it like top five, and then you put titanium rims on this and a redesign, and it is banging, bro. This is fantastic. One of the best G2s ever. I like this better than the TIS so far.
So I people ask for titanium rims, so I'm gonna get to doing it eventually. And that was the time to do it. The Banshee SS needed a refresh. I think it's kind of the Banshee is my staple, the whatever you want to call it, flagship, and it's not one yo-yo. It's just going to be a line. Like hopefully when G2 if G2 is around, there's some sort of Banshee. So the Banshee SS was just overwhelmingly fan favorite with SS rims, so that needed a refresh. It's been retired a while. It originally came out in like I don't know, 2022 maybe, 2021, 2020, who knows? That's how old it could be. I had like my filing cabinet does not store this information very well.
And it's unfair for someone to expect you to.
Some people are wired and can remember it. But it's been retired for a while and it needed a refresh. So this was kind of the trial to see, does it make sense to do a version that's always titanium rims? It has a slightly different feel. There's not a whole lot of design reason to do titanium rims outside of its titanium rims, and it does feel a little bit different in hand. You can spark it if you want. You do run the risk of vibe afterwards, more so than a solid titanium.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, the yo-yo itself, like you can say it's titanium rim, like that doesn't really matter as far as the I think the design and play. It would be different because stainless steel is a little heavier. Um, but the width adjustment, I think overall was huge, and some people will like it or won't like it. I softened those rims just a touch, and I think that kind of really put it over the top as kind of the perfect successor to the Banshee SS. The rims overall are wider and softer, but still keeping it a pretty Banshee slope.
If you haven't played with one of these, you should go find a friend that has one.
There's not a lot out there right now. That was the Black Friday yo-yo, and I just did two colors. And I only had 25 made of each, and maybe 20-ish of each made it through QC. So not a lot out there right now, but we'll see. We'll see more to be made. I didn't see one person that said, it's just not for me or
Pack
anything like
Storm.
that. So when you have 100% hit rate, you got a winner, and it's gonna have to be in the lineup.
It is really good, Mr. Jake, but every yo-yo you make is good. No surprise. But it is a banger.
He's paid to
Uh,
say that.
I really do not get paid to say that. I'm just telling you the honest to God truth.
Um, Everything I design, I try to fill a gap with, a hole with. Um, and I know one yo-yo is not going to be for everybody, but I, for the most part, only sell yo-yos that I like. So when you see a limited, like a one-time run of whatever, and why didn't that happen again? It's just something that I personally didn't really love. And so if I don't really like it or love it, I'm probably not going to continue it. So that kind of happened with the minis, and we'll refresh into that just because the Covenant ended up being really good as a mini. But um, yeah, that if you see something released a lot, I really like it. If you see something released once, I probably didn't like it that much.
So more slingshots 2025.
Slingshot's a individual case, right?
Yeah.
Made for July 4th, so I like the slingshot a lot. It doesn't, for some reason that dual dynamic rotational motion doesn't. I don't seem to see the power in those rims. But overall, I love the look and the comfort and the play of it. But it plays the kind of almost the opposite of a bimetal. Doesn't have a ton of that momentum, which I think is why I like it.
It's a fantastic yo-yo. Fantastic. Dude, thank you for hanging out as
Thanks for
always.
hopping on. Emergency DogCast. Good
Yeah,
luck
dog.
today.
So yeah, I'm thankful for you, brother. Thank you for everything. Guys, check this out too. Just stuff to be looking out for. Just stuff to be looking out for.
They might be waiting on that for like 8 months, man.
Uh, well, in the next 8 months, y'all be checking this
That
out.
might be next week of wonders.
Yeah. Ooh, Thanksgiving's gonna be popping, y'all. Thanksgiving's gonna be popping.
Oh,
All
that
right.
blue looks so good though.
I'm very excited for the Goose 1.5. Thanks for giving it a relook, and I hope you look into making it into the legacy line down the road.
Yeah,
The yo-yo
Legacy
is
Goose. We'll see.
King Goose.
All right, sir. Shall we?
Pack store brace on three. One,
I'm
two,
ready,
three.
sir. Pack store, I'm ready.
Pack store brace, dog. Peace, love. Love y'all. Have a good
See ya.
day.